problem is we don't vote. Or at least we just don't vote to the same extent that our parents and grandparents voted. Voter turnout rates around the world, both for parliamentary and presidential elections, have been going down sharply. There are some exceptions, depending on how heated an election is, but the general trend looks exactly like this. In the last congressional elections, about 40% of voting age Americans voted. That's extremely low. It means that you guys are being governed by a Congress that was elected by, probably less than 30% of the general population. That is extremely, extremely worrisome, and it helps us understand a little bit more about the crisis in representation and how people are feeling about that Congress that, at the end of the day, they didn't actually choose. And what's really worrisome, and worries me the most, is that some leaders are recognizing this trend, and they know that we are angry, and they know that our anger at the system has led us to this point of just not voting, not caring anymore. And we know that they also know that it's just not our generation. They know that, we're speaking for all of us when we say that this just isn't working anymore. It isn't working in the way that maybe has once worked, or maybe never worked, and we're just recognizing it now. And these leaders are taking that anger, and that they're taking that indifference to some extent, and they're trying to channel that to their own goals. And when I say that, of course, it's very easy to think of Donald Trump as someone who's doing that right now here in the US. I'm also thinking of leaders in my country like Michel Temer, or even left-wing politicians like Corbyn in England. I'm not talking about the policies that they're trying to advance. And of course, I recognize that there are many, many differences between a Trump and a Corbyn, and I don't mean to imply that they're the same in any way, but I do mean to say that all three of these men are doing one thing. They are trying to turn what is very clearly a crisis of representation, very well justified anger at how the system is working, and a recognition that it is failing many of us, and they're trying to turn that into a crisis of representatives. They're essentially saying, it's not that the system is broken, it's just that I haven't been elected yet. And when I get there, I would just change everything because I'm an outsider, because I'm not a professional politician, because I'm not tied to all of these, or maybe because I'm not corrupt, maybe because, I am closer to the working people. They have many reasons to believe and to try to make us believe that they would be better than everyone else, but that's all they're doing. And that may work, and I think it will work to some extent for maybe 1 or 2 electoral cycles, and demagogues and fearmongers will be in power. But at some point, that's also going to grow old, and we are going to realize that it's not about who's sitting at the pinnacle of power, it's about how power itself is distributed in our society today, and how the system that we have put in place to actually elect people and choose our leaders is essentially filtering for the worst possible leaders we could ask for.